Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Revealing the Narc, and on this channel we dive deep into the intriguing world of narcissism. I'll often use public figures as examples to illustrate how these behaviors can manifest in real life. If this content sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe, and I should mention, everything I talk about here, it's in my opinion, and any theories or hypotheticals that are brought up, these are all allegedly. So let's get into the topic of this video. I have a feeling this is going to be a long one, and I have a feeling that every single point I bring about is going to need its own series of videos. This all began when I started looking for a news article about Meghan Markle from Today, and I came across an article where I think a British PR person is saying that Meghan's new rebranding effort is not going to work. And I said this in another video, but I think it's worth repeating here. You don't need to rebrand if you do some self-reflection and recognize what it is that you are being criticized for. Because the easiest way to garner the love of the people is listen to them and their criticism. You can change those things and still not have to rebrand. However, if you rebrand and you don't even consider those criticisms, you're going to be in the same place you are now. So either way, you need to do some self-reflection. And believe me, I get it. It's really difficult to listen to criticisms because it's hard sometimes to accept that maybe you don't do some things perfectly even though you think you do. But ultimately, in the end, that feedback helps so much. So I'm going to tell you guys actually about feedback that I received for this channel. I've said this story a couple times, so sorry if I keep repeating it. But when I first started this channel, I had created a video intro. It was my first time ever that I had made anything like that, and I even set the music to it. I'm still so proud of it. But I got feedback from people that they didn't like it. And you know what? I deleted it. I took it out of my videos. And you know what? They were right. I feel like I'm getting a lot more views now. So sometimes it's not about, the criticism is not even about something that you did poorly, or it's not a personal thing. It's just, I prefer that intro video is not played. And that's fine. I can watch the intro video on a loop if I wanted to, And also, who is this for? I'm not making these videos for myself. I'm making them for people to listen to them and to enjoy to listen to them. So, anyways, that's my point about feedback. And I think I've been talking quite a bit, but you know that happens. Back to the work at hand. So today we're going to go through an article that talks about Meghan's PR strategy. It's an opinion piece about how Meghan's PR strategy, this person who wrote the article or was interviewed for the article, they don't believe it's going to work. And there's one snippet in there where it compares Meghan to Princess Diana. And that got me on a whole other, I started researching things. And what I'm going to do in this video, we are first going to go through that article, and that's going to be pretty quick. It's not a very long article. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about narcissists and when they generate these idols. I think maybe that's something that's not commonly talked about, but seeing it in Meghan and Princess Diana kind of reminded me that my ex-husband did the same, except his was Arnold Schwarzenegger. So when people ask, why are you so, in quotations, obsessed with Meghan Markle? It's because her narcissism is so exact, and it's malignant narcissism like my stepmom's. I am learning so much about myself and my own experiences. The article is titled, Meghan Markle's Attempt to Rebrand Gets Damning Verdict from Royal Expert. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are reportedly paving their own ways professionally after a series of solo engagements. And you see this article was printed today. That ages me, doesn't it? It was published today on October 14th. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been dominating headlines over the last few weeks as the couple have headed out on solo ventures, leading to rumors that they may be undergoing a professional split with their working lives. I don't think they're rumors. I think they're absolutely true. And these stories are being released by Meghan herself. She is the one that is generating these articles, and she has her PR and her publicity people making sure that they're getting out. And my opinion is that the reason they're splitting professionally is because they believe Harry's image is a lot easier to rehabilitate. And once that's done, then maybe they can start working on Meghan. Or maybe that's what's maybe that's what's Meghan's plan, but I highly doubt that she would believe that her image is worse than Harry's. But then she is also the most trolled person on the internet. So, I don't know. I feel like it would be very hard for Meghan to have accepted this on the premise of once his image is rehabilitated, then he can help her look better. I doubt that that's the dialogue that happened. The article continues, while the Duke 40 has spent almost the last month away from home conducting solo engagements in New York, the UK, and Africa, Meghan Markle reportedly has been at home with their children, Archie and Lilibet. And I know this can be totally expanded, but what we're going to be getting into in this video is going to be so much weirdness. We don't need to add any more weirdness to this video. However, the Duchess 43 did step out on a red carpet during this time for a children's hospital gala recently, further fueling the idea that they may be stepping out alone when it comes to their lives in the public spotlight. While Prince Harry's recent solo visits overseas were deemed successful, royal historian and expert Hugo Vickers believes that Meghan Markle's attempt at rebranding herself isn't so successful. Speaking to The Sun, Vickers said, "I don't think anything she's doing at the moment is going to appeal to the people in the UK very much. However, just a side note, I don't think she's trying to appeal to the people in the UK. She doesn't ever want to go there. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think she's trying to rehabilitate her image here in America. And if you just look at the two events that she did, one was the Children's Hospital Gala, and it's for the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. And the other was for the, I forget the name of it, but it was an event in Santa Barbara. It was for girls, and Meghan. She exploited it. And the reason that I think that's more America-based is because the article that was sent out, that was a puff piece, I believe, from Meghan's camp, mentioned Melinda Gates and it mentioned Oprah. So Meghan wants to be associated with these two. So I think Meghan's main goal is to establish her credibility here. And I would not take her trying to go down the political route off the table. I think that's something that I think she probably wants to pursue that more than she wants to pursue acting, because then, when you're acting, what's the most you can do? How many people can you influence? Not a whole lot. If you're a director, you can tell a ton of people what to do. But if you're a politician, you get to pick. You get to write laws and veto laws and protect the masses. Imagine the ego associated with that. She would love that. Anyways, that's just my opinion. The article continues, her wearing a red dress is this sort of power statement, like Princess Diana wearing a black dress when she went to the Serpentine Gallery. Okay, rewind. We're going to be talking about this for a little bit. Why did Princess Diana wear that dress? She wore that dress because that was the same evening that King Charles's interview was going to come out, where he mentioned and he admitted to his affair with Camilla. Now, please, if I'm wrong, let me know, but That was my impression. She wore that dress on that same evening, and that's why it was called a revenge dress. And also, one of her main reasons for doing it was so that she would get him off the pages, off the front papers. She would be on the front papers in that beautiful dress. So now let's compare that back to Meghan being compared using this red dress analogy. First of all, not even close. Like, please, 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 please. Princess Diana had maybe a little bit of leg showing, but it was covered up in pantyhose, right? And she wore heels, which she never wore with Prince Charles or King Charles now because she was too tall. So she looked classy and elegant. Meghan did not. Secondly, is Meghan's intention anyway tied to Princess Diana's intention? Is she hinting that separations are coming? Because I believe right after that interview, that's when the separation came. So is that the implication? Should we be waiting for that to happen? And finally, Princess Diana's goal was to wipe Prince Charles off the front pages. Meghan, is that what you were trying to do? Were you trying to get Harry off the front pages? Sure seems like it. And this article that we're reading was put out by Meghan. Because nobody in their right mind would call that like a Princess Diana revenge dress moment. No one except someone delusional and narcissistic. Anyways, that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. Okay, the article continues. Sort of establishing herself as a figure. I think that works better in America than it does over here. Establishing. She was an actress since like 2010 on Suits, right? And then in 2016, she had a boyfriend who was part of the royal family. And then she got married in 2018 and became a high-ranking royal, a working royal. Has she not established herself by that point? I don't... It's just like... it infuriates me because I am one of those people that you give me an opportunity and I run with it. I don't take it for granted. I started this YouTube thing. I actually started on Twitter. And it was because I would notice so many of these things and I watched a lot of YouTubers. And so I thought, I'm going to start contributing to this too. And my unique experience, I've never been in the entertainment industry. I haven't, I just started following the royal family a few years ago. But I have been raised by narcissists. I've had a stepmom that is a malignant narcissist, and then I married a narcissist. So my entire life, up until 2 years ago, I have been surrounded with narcissists. I know the game, and that's why I recognize it in Meghan Markle. Anyways, that was a tangent that I went on. Okay, let's continue the article. This comes after PR expert Ed Coram James, the CEO of PR firm Go Up, told the Mirror that Harry and Meghan have adopted a strategy that works for U.S. audiences but leaves British people irritated. He told the Mirror the Duchess of Sussex took a U.S.-based attitude to PR. U.S.-based PR can be extremely attack-focused. Go on the offensive against your rivals. Big publicity tours, reveal all exposés, celebrity endorsements. This isn't anything new. They've been doing this since 2019. This is exactly what they've been doing. So I don't see how these things, what did they do? Call up this PR company and be like, hey, what do you think about how Meghan wore the red dress? And then this guy's like, sure, I'll make a mountain out of a molehill. There's not that much to say, but it does give us an opportunity to talk, which is something I am thankful for. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of why this behavior happens. Oh, and I didn't mention, the thing I took away from this article was that Princess Diana Meghan Markle question. Why is Meghan Markle so obsessed with Princess Diana? And what we're going to talk about is a narcissist obsession to emulate someone. But the Meghan Markle and Diana thing go a lot deeper than simply idolizing someone. Because this relationship, this image that Meghan is portraying about her closeness to Princess Diana is something that she uses as a tool to manipulate Harry. So I want us to keep that on the back burner, but also view it from that lens. Like, this is something that's a way to control Harry, which is what she wants to do. So one thing that could be happening is idealization and mirroring. So narcissists often engage in a psychological process called mirroring, where they mimic behaviors, styles, or attributes of others they admire or see as successful. This isn't just about admiration, but about absorbing the qualities that make these figures admired to boost their own self-image. Now, a thought just came to me. Narcissists see people as extensions of themselves. So they're not really copying or emulating the person because they're connected to this person. So it is a form of boundary violation that happens here. And of course, mirroring also occurs during the love bombing stage, but this is with the person that you're trying to hook, that the narcissist is trying to hook. They're trying to emulate their behaviors to make them think, oh my gosh, we have so much in common, we dress alike, we like the same things, etc., etc. The second is seeking validations. Narcissists crave attention, admiration, and validation from others. By associating closely with or emulating a famous figure, they believe they can also gain some of that admiration. This is about leveraging the fame and positive attributes of the idol to enhance their own social standing or self-worth. And this is exactly why this puff piece was put out, because she wants comparisons to Princess Diana. She wants people to say it. She wants it said so much that even Prince Harry wants other people to admit that she's just like Diana. Prince Harry is said to have approached the Spencer family and said, isn't she just like Mom? And they're like, no, no, she's not at all. Okay, the next one is fantasy and grandiosity. Narcissistic individuals often live in a fantasy world where they envision themselves as exceptionally talented, famous, or powerful. Emulating a celebrity can be a way to live out this fantasy where they believe they are becoming the admired figure, thus fulfilling their grandiose self-image. And this just gave me a flashback to Meghan's childhood, where there are video clips of her consistently watching Princess Diana's wedding on VHS, of her watching Princess Diana's funeral, of her reading Andrew Morton's book about Princess Diana. And actually that got me thinking to something else, a connection I made earlier today. So Princess Diana in the Andrew Morton book used to call the security people the men in gray suits. Today I was watching something, and I think they mentioned in Spare that Meghan said she didn't want to give birth in the hospital that Princess Catherine had and all the royalty had, because she didn't want to be surrounded by the men in gray suits. Can you believe that? Can you believe she used this? And that's not an accident. She's in her head, she's becoming Diana. Oh, Diana hated the men in gray suits. I hate them too. I will not give birth in front of them. Diana would be so proud, right? Oh my gosh, she is so transparent. There's also this lack of true self. So some psychologists suggest that narcissists might not have a well-developed sense of self. By adopting different persona, like of one of a famous person, they might be filling in what they perceive as a void in their identity. This can provide them with a ready-made identity that they feel is superior. Again, something else that just came to me. Meghan, when she was playing Rachel Zane, she became Rachel Zane. And you can tell that based on interviews and things that have happened around that time, but she really believes she was Rachel Zane. There was this one interview, though, that she called Rachel Zane like her best friend and she would borrow her clothes. But I think it's more than that. I think she really believes she was Rachel Zane. And it's because of this very delicate, true, like acknowledgement of their true self. And perhaps that's why she chose acting as a profession. Also, if you look at her friendships, it's like every week she has a new best friend. And first of all, we're not kids anymore. We don't really we have friends, right? Like you might have a best friend, and that's a beautiful thing to have. And it's something probably from childhood, right? But it's a consistent best friend. You don't have a new one every week. And, oh, I'm mad at you, so you're not my best friend anymore. And now this person's my best friend. So because narcissists also, they see people as extensions of themselves. It's almost like I want to think of it like slime, right? Like it can move into these people and it can come back from these people. So she almost like attaches to people and takes on their persona. I don't know, and I've kind of noticed it, and unfortunately right now I can't think of exact examples, but maybe if you look at that gala video, Rachel is usually not that coy, right? But the friend she's with is kind of coy. So you see Meghan acting kind of shy of the cameras. That just came to me. Let me know if you guys noticed that too. Could she have been trying to emulate her friend because of this lack of knowing who she really is? Okay, and then finally, control and power. So the act of emulating someone famous can also be about control. By choosing who to emulate, narcissists can control their public persona, crafting an identity that they believe will garner them the most admiration and power. And who better to pick than the people's princess? And how convenient that she's also the mother of your husband. She's someone that can be used to very easily manipulate Prince Harry. From the first date, she walked in smelling like Princess Diana. It's sick. It's really sick. And that's allegedly. And finally, it could be avoiding vulnerability. By emulating a successful or universally admired person, that might be a strategy to avoid facing their own vulnerabilities or failures. So by adopting this persona of someone successful, they avoid confronting their own shortcomings or insecurities. It's like putting on a mask and expecting the mask to be successful because you believe that what's behind the mask is not good enough. So at what point would this behavior be considered pathological or unhealthy? So if this goes on for a long time, it could lead to loss of an identity. So this obsession can lead to a loss of one's own identity, where they might struggle to differentiate their own personality from that of the person they're emulating. Unrealistic expectations. So this can set up unrealistic expectations for themselves and others, leading to dissatisfaction when the reality doesn't match their fantasy, which is, I think, why Meghan's house of cards is falling and why she's falling. I've actually told people that kind of question, right? Like they're like, no, I don't believe that she's that bad, but they haven't watched, And I mentioned like, oh, so far I've only been looking at her behavior like prior to Megxit. Because after Megxit, she became unhinged. Like I think the reality of she is not Princess Diana started settling in. And she became more erratic. And I think now is the worst that it's ever been. Like, I can't imagine the level of desperation she feels now. At the same time that she's noticing Harry is getting positive press. Like, this is her nightmare. She is living her nightmare right now. Okay, let's continue. So it could become unhealthy if there's also manipulation of relationships. So such behaviors often involve manipulating relationships to gain validation or admiration, which can be detrimental to genuine interpersonal connections. And immediately, the Meghan and Harry thing that popped in my head was the very first time that Harry took Meghan to visit Princess Diana's grave and her behavior at the grave. That, to me, was a major manipulation. And I mean, there's so many more. And I bet you there's so many that we haven't even heard of. Like, I bet this is on a daily basis. Harry is inundated with this manipulation. Also, social dysfunction. If taken to an extreme, this behavior can lead to social dysfunction where the individual's life revolves around the emulation, potentially impacting work, relationships, and personal growth. We see that right now with Meghan, right? I feel that she's doing her best to emulate Princess Diana, and the doors keep getting shut in her face, and she is going down, down, down on this downward spiral. An extreme obsession also can be an indicator of deeper mental health issues such as identity disorders or delusional disorders where the boundary between reality and fantasy blurs. And I believe that we do have some of that here, but I think most of what Meghan is driven by is her malignant narcissism, and this is how all of her behaviors are manifesting, and this is in my opinion. So this ended up being a lot longer video than I expected. I mean, I knew it was going to be a long one. It's a very important topic, I feel. And in summary, like, while admiration of famous figures is common, for narcissists, this can escalate to an obsession. So they try to emulate these people to try to fulfill psychological needs, from validation and fantasy to identity construction. This behavior, when extreme, can cross into unhealthy or pathological territory, and it could affect the person's life and their interactions with others. So I'm wondering how you all feel about this. Have you experienced this with a narcissist? And if there's any commentary you'd like to add, I'd love to hear it. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Based on all of this that was talked about today, if there's anything that you'd really like me to expand on, let me know, because there was a lot of content in this video. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. And I forgot if I said, if you liked it, please like and subscribe. And I will talk to you all soon. Goodbye.